Hello everyone, I'm Aka and welcome to my channel. I have not said those words in the longest time. I think it's been nearly 6 months, almost to the day, since I posted my last video. And so much has happened since then. Life has just been very hectic and I just had to take some time away just to sort of reorganize myself. So, one major thing that happened is that in January, my ex, my children's father, passed away. It was very unexpected. He just seemed like one of those people who are larger than life. And so hearing that he had passed away was just very, it gave life a different perspective. So found out that he passed away in January, found out from a family member. He passed away in Congo, just nearby here. Congo is a neighboring country to Zambia. So it was a very tragic way in which he passed away. And so I had to break the news to the children. My family came together so that we could do it together. My parents came from their house to mine, and my sister, who just lives near here, also came to support me as I told the children that their dad had passed away. So my ex and I separated when I was 6 weeks pregnant with my daughter. So she had never met him. My son was about 2 at the time. So since their dad left, he never came to visit them. There was no contact whatsoever. When I broke the news, my daughter was very, very upset. She cried. Hold on, I need to move a little bit. There's too much sun on that spot. We separated when I was 6 weeks pregnant with my daughter. He left and there has been no contact, no physical contact since then. He has reached out a few times, but nothing relating to the children. So my daughter had never met him. And so when I broke the news, she was just very upset, very, very upset. My daughter is a very emotional person. She really she feels so deeply. And she knows what a father is, so she felt that connection to him even though she had never met him. So she cried for about an hour and she was inconsolable, and it was so sad. My son, on the other hand, just had a lot of questions. Of course, I expressed to him that if there's anything you want to know about your dad and his passing, please feel free to ask me. So the only thing he asked me was what he died of, and I explained to him. And that was pretty much it. After that, he had no emotions. Of course, he was solemn, but he didn't cry or act in any way to physically show what he was feeling. So I expressed to him that it was okay if he needed, sorry if you hear the doors banging. We're in the middle of winter and it's very windy, so the wind keeps banging doors. I might have to go and actually let me close those. Oh, it's very windy, so doors keep banging. So I explained to my son what had happened, and I told him that it was okay for him to be emotional, for him to cry, and that I'd be there for him, and all of us in the family would be there for him, there for both of them in case they needed to talk. And my dad also stepped in. My dad has always been the father figure to these children from a young age. When my son was born, I was at university doing my master's degree, so I would have to leave my son from the time he was about 8 weeks old, 6 to 8 weeks old. I'd leave my son at home and go to school, and I'd leave him with my dad. So my dad was his primary caregiver for nearly the first 2 years of his life. My dad was the main person who my son hung out with. So they're very, very close. They have a very special bond. And also my daughter is very close with my dad. He is the most consistent male role model in her life. So he has always told them that even though their father is not in their lives, he is there for them. and he has stepped into that role as a father, and whatever things that a father does with their children, he does with them. He plays football with them, he plays different games with them, he takes them places, he answers their weird questions. He's just very engaged and very involved in their life. So my dad just emphasized the fact that he will be there for them. Even though their father is not there, he will always be there to take up that role. So yeah, I was very worried about my son because of just how he reacted to it. And yeah, I kept gently encouraging him to express himself. And the main thing that he kept saying was that he did not want to cry because it would make him feel even worse. So I respected that, but I just kept an eye out on him just to see if there are any behaviors that I need to sort of intervene in, if there are any ways that maybe he's manifesting his grief, and just to be there for him. And it's been 6 months so far, and yeah, I'm still observing him, observing them, but we talk very openly about death. We talk very openly about their father. I answer whatever questions they have. Right now they don't have that many, but as they grow older, I'm sure they will have more questions, and I'll always be ready to answer those questions. I've always been very honest with my children. I don't lie to them about the situation with their dad. I just say it in a manner that is very age appropriate. So they've always known that they have a dad, but that their dad and I are not together. So yeah, my main thing is just to be honest. So I'm preparing myself for the question that will inevitably come. But yeah, it was just a very surprising thing. Like I said, he was one of those bigger than life characters. You just expect that he would live to a ripe old age. But there were certain lifestyle choices that he made that may have contributed to his untimely death. So yeah, for me personally, I grieved for the fact that my children have lost their father. Even though he was not in their lives, at least he was there. And if at some point in their lives they ever wanted to reach out to him, the idea that he would be there physically was a little bit comforting. And I've always tried to be very neutral with my opinions about their father, so they don't have any skewed view of him one way or the other. They just know that he's their dad and we're not together, but So yeah, I grieved for them for the fact that they will never have that privilege of actually, when they're small and they're playing with their friends and everyone says, my dad this, my dad that, my dad did this and that. So in that typical traditional way, they will not be able to say that, even though I know that they have my dad who has stepped into that role. But still, it would be nice for them to have their actual biological father there for them in the future in case they ever needed it. So I grieved for them in that way. As far as my personal feelings, like I have expressed before, we had a very tumultuous breaking apart. It was not pleasant, and it took me many, many years to forgive the action that my ex had taken. In fact, there's a video I made last year in April where I said I forgive my ex. So it took me a really long time to get to that point, to actually forgive, and I thank God so much that he really put that burden on my heart. He was nagging at me for the longest time, telling me to forgive. And to be honest, I've been having these thoughts for a few weeks, the thought of forgiveness, forgiving him. It has been nagging at me for the longest time. Something has been telling me, maybe it's the Holy Spirit, I don't know. But I believe in God, and I believe that God speaks to us through the Holy Spirit, and sometimes it's that little voice inside. So yeah, that voice has really been hammering at me for a few weeks now. Forgiveness. I keep getting the sense in my heart, forgive him. And I had so much anger that I just could not fathom the thought of forgiving him. This little voice has been nagging me for a while, but the anger was so raw because my anger was justified. So that video touched me so much that I felt compelled to respond to his email. And if you've dealt with a narcissist, you know that you only have to deal with the facts, be very to the point, don't add any emotion in your exchange with them. And so that's what I did. I wrote him a very simple email that just said, I forgive you and I wish you well. And like, I mean that from deep down my heart. I have actually let go of that anger that I had, and I have forgiven him and I have let it go. Because I would have felt so bad if he had passed away and I not have told him that I forgive him, and I still having to bear that burden of anger and resentment. So I thank God that he put that on my heart to forgive him. So last April, I forgave him and he apologized, I suppose, in the best way that a person, like with some of the issues that he has, can apologize. And so in all these years and all the things that happened leading up to this point, I grieved his death many years ago. I mean that in the sense that I grieved the idea of whom I thought he was. I grieved the future that I thought we might have. So in that way, to me, the grieving process started a long time ago, and I even overcame it. So his death now was shocking, but emotionally that connection is not there because I already grieved. I cried already. I cried for days, for weeks, for months. I already grieved, and I had moved on to another point in the process, which is acceptance. So I accepted that this person that I thought I knew was gone. So yeah, it's just a very strange feeling. I don't know if I'm articulating it correctly, but yeah, I already grieved his death a long time ago, and his physical death now, the major impact for me was the grief for the sake of my children, if that makes sense at all. I hope. Anyway, yeah, so that's one of the major things that has happened in these past few months. So after that happened, I just thought that I should take some time away and just focus on the children mainly and on our family, and just trying to make sure I'm there for the children, to try and heal whatever wounds that obviously will inevitably come as a result of this. It's inevitable whether or not you've met your parent. The fact that when they die, you still grieve. So for their sake, I just took some time away just to be there, to be a very present mom, to just meet them wherever they are emotionally. Yeah, so another major thing that happened is that your girl got a job, a part-time job. So last year, toward the end of last year, a colleague of mine reached out to me. He knew that I had taken some time away from formal employment to look after my children, to raise my children. And I have been so blessed for the past 7 years to have been able to do that. I know it's a privilege that many people don't have. God has really been there for me. He's provided in ways that I cannot even explain. So I've had this privilege for the past 7 years to be a stay-at-home mom to my children and to be very present and active in their lives, especially in their formative years. That's something that I really wanted, to be present in their formative years, because they're so little for so little for such a short time. So now that my children are both in school, my son is in 2nd grade going to 3rd grade, and my daughter was in reception going to grade 1, I felt that it was time to get back into the working environment. And so when my friend reached out, it was really an answered prayer. So he reached out to me about a position, a lecturing position at one of the most prestigious universities in the country. So I was very excited about that. So end of last year, we began the process, and in February, I got the news that I had been offered this part-time lecturing position. And so it was very scary at first, because I've not lectured in that way before. I've not lectured actually, but I do have a background in adult education, and adult educators generally are people who are able to speak in public, who are able to articulate their ideas, to express them in a manner that is digestible to people. So I do have that advantage of having had that academic background. So as I have mentioned in other videos, I have a bachelor's degree in adult education and a master's degree in education as well. So this was this was the perfect opportunity. So I took it with both hands. So this new position, obviously it's new to me. I've been out of the formal workforce for such a long time, so there was some anxiety there. I was wondering if I'd managed, if I would cope. So yeah, it's taken some time for me to sort of find my feet. So I'm teaching a new program. So so I pretty much have to make notes almost from scratch, because this is when the program is starting. So obviously, so I have to make notes, I have to really understand the content that I'm teaching, and I have to be able to deliver it in a manner that is entertaining to my learners. That's just my style. I don't like to be so rigid and so formal, and I like to create an environment that is open. We can have dialogues, we can exchange ideas in a manner that is free, where they don't feel afraid or judged. I spend time creating my notes, internalizing the information and making it digestible to my students, making it interesting, making it interactive. So that is quite time consuming. So I'd spend hours and hours a day just doing my notes. And then at the same time, I still have to be a mother. So I still have to also be the mom. And that also is very time consuming. So at the moment, I'm teaching part-time. So I teach 3 times a week. And for those 2 days, I have 2 7 o'clock lectures. So for those ones, either my mom or my dad comes to my house the night before so they can take my children to school, because I have to be at school by 7:30. So it's impossible for me to make it, drop them off and then go to class because of just the traffic. So I'm so blessed in that way that my family have stepped in and just helped me, taken some of these burdens. Even just mentally, it helps to know that you have people who are supporting you, even as you're going out there into the workforce. Your children are okay. The home front is okay. Things are taken care of at home. So I'm so blessed to have my parents be able to do that for me. And it's a huge sacrifice. They leave their beautiful home to come here and to do this one thing for me. So I'm so blessed to have that. So it has allowed me really to immerse myself in the whole academic process, and I'm enjoying being in that space with academics. It really expands your mind, broadens your horizons, and just exposes you to all these new different ideas that ultimately better your life in one way or another. So yeah, it's also very challenging. I'm in an environment with very well-educated people, so it's sort of pushing me also to upgrade my qualifications. So I'm beginning to flirt with the idea of starting my PhD. So that is just from the fact that I'm interacting with all these intellectual people, these very smart, very well-educated people. So in that way, I feel very, very lucky and very blessed. I have really smart students as well. That's something that really amazes me. The young people these days are just so very smart, and the lessons are always interesting because they're always able to bring these ideas that enrich the learning experience. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about being a part of that journey to getting this education and this qualification that they've dreamed of. So I feel very lucky and very blessed for that privilege. And of course, you know, the ultimate goal, I'm enjoying this so much that I would like to do this full time. So that's the ultimate goal. I wrote some notes down. Let me just okay, so just in between the new job, being a mother, it's been very time consuming, and I've not really had time to create content in the manner in which I enjoy. But now my students have closed. The institution I teach at is on break. My children also on break from school. So I have this window of about 4 weeks where I have some time to get back into this and hopefully just arrange my life in such a way that I'm able to do all the things that I love. So the teaching job came, I wouldn't say unexpectedly, because obviously I applied for it, but just the way things happened was today I'm offered the position and next week I have to start teaching. So it was really rapid. So I always felt like I was catching up. I was trying to catch up, and it was just very physically and mentally taxing. So now that we have a break, I'm more settled. I have chance and time now to prepare my notes, so that when we open, I'm not constantly making notes. I'm just improving my presentation skills and learning the material. So yeah, I have some free time now. My children are at my parents for the next 2 weeks. So I have so much time to get so much done. So I really have no excuses. Oh, and then also I recently became an aunt for the 4th time. So that's so exciting. We have a new member of our family, and my brother's wife, or my brother and his wife, had a baby, a son. So he will continue my father's name. So we're all very excited about that. I know it's very like old-fashioned, almost medieval, but I'm so excited to have someone to continue my father's name, because he's such a wonderful man. His legacy needs to continue, and we thank God that he has granted us this beautiful little boy who is going to continue the name. Obviously my sister is married, I was married, so our children obviously don't have the same name. So it was so exciting to have a Mwanza finally. Yeah, so I'm a new auntie. I'm very excited about that. I have 4 of them now, which is mind-blowing, because just 3 years ago I was an aunt to now no one, and now I have 4. So I'm so excited. So yeah, those are the things that have been happening in my life for the past few months. But I'm back. I'm back, and thank you so much to all of you people who have stuck around. I know for myself it's so annoying when people who make YouTube videos, or YouTubers or content creators, just suddenly stop, and it's just so infuriating. So I understand your frustration. If there are any people who have left, I'm so sorry, but I'm back now. Please come back. And for all the new subscribers, thank you so much. We actually reached 500 subscribers a few weeks ago, and now we have 505. I'm so thankful to all of you. Thank you so much for believing in just this random girl that you found online who talks about random things and shares her life, and you believe enough in me to actually subscribe and interact with me. I'm so happy and so blessed, and I thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube journey. Also, I'm on TikTok now. I think I'm slightly more active on TikTok, because TikTok videos are just so easy to make. You can literally do it in 5 minutes and it's done. So I'm more active there. I'm going to leave my details in the description below. If you want, you can follow me there. You'll see more of my day-to-day life. So what are we expecting on the channel? I've restarted my fitness journey. So for about 3 weeks, I was doing more than 10,000 steps a day. And then the week before last, I got really sick. First of all, my children got sick, and then I got sick. We had this really bad flu. So I've been recuperating for the past 2 weeks. So I've not been walking. But now I think I'm almost at 100% back to normal. So I'm going to go back to my walking, and I'm going to be sharing some of that journey with you. And just generally more of my cooking content, more of my travel content. I plan to do more traveling and carry you guys along. And yeah, let's just keep hanging out and keep making videos and interacting, and let's see what the future holds. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate every single one of you. Like I've already said, you don't know just how appreciative I am. I know it's not, it may seem small to you, but to me it's not. I always imagine a room with 500 people who have all taken their time to come to this place and listen to me. That is such a privilege. That is such an honor, and I don't take it lightly. I'm so grateful to every single last one of you who has subscribed, who has encouraged me, who has reached out to me when you didn't see me online on posting on YouTube. You've reached out. That made me feel so special. Thank you so much. To all my OG subscribers, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you, and get ready for more interesting content. I think I've reached a different phase in my life, and I'm excited about this phase. I'm excited about all the new, interesting, cool things that I'm going to do, and I'm excited to carry you along with me on this new phase in my life. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.